things. If you are not asking a question or anything, if you could go ahead and keep your microphone muted, just for, courtesy. And then when we get to the question and answer, if you have a question during the presentation, go ahead and type it in the chat. Otherwise, when we get to the question and answer session, go ahead and raise your hand. That way we can make sure and just kind of call on people accordingly. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is on background checks available to you thanks to the Strong Grant funding. So I have the pleasure of introducing both of our speakers today. First, I have the pleasure of introducing our very own ESAR VIP MRC and Volunteer Manager, Dawn Davis, with the Office of Preparedness and Response at the Illinois Department of Public Health. Big breath there. Whew. And then I also have the pleasure of introducing Troy Gerber. He's the sales executive with Volunteers Vertical, a First Advantage company with Sterling Volunteers. So Dawn, I'll turn it over to you to get us started.
Well, thank you, Miss Bethany. Welcome, Merkel. I know you saw me yesterday and you're going to see me again today, but welcome. Today, I was asked to do just an overview of Illinois Helps and the requirements of the FEP-funded health departments on what is required of you to maintain your Illinois Helps account. Did I do something wrong? Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Very good, very good. All righty. Look, this is the Illinois Helps Volunteer Management System. This is the training site I'm going to go from for today. You see, if you can see, we're matching, right? I dressed up for this today. All right, but this is how the real site looks. It's the original site's web address is www.illinoishelps.net. It is our emergency system for advanced registration volunteer health professional. That's where the acronym ESAR VIP comes from. And this is our site. And our current vendor right now is Javari. It's very, very similar to the Siren system. So you'll see some similarities if you haven't seen it already. So those are kind of a few things that I'll go over this morning. So this is the homepage. And the homepage has, the home button, the frequently asked questions, terms of service, privacy policy, and how to contact us. And if you are utilizing this volunteer management system for your MRC volunteer program, what you would do is, have your volunteers go to the site, and they're not a member, register now. And that's what I'm going to go over real quickly. Click on the register now. And of course, you read the top print, which is giving you instructions on how to navigate the system. There's telling you for best experience, do not use the refresh, stop, back, or forward buttons in the browser. If there's an asterisk, it indicates a required field. And for security, and all communications are encrypted, and you will be logged out automatically if it's inactive for more than 20 minutes. They recommend that we use the latest versions of Microsoft Edge, Mozilla, Firefox, and so on and so on. So the first item, or the first area that a person must select, is which organization to connect with. And in the system, it will have, once you click on that, it will give you the Medical Reserve Corps organization, as well as where's the local health departments. So if you hit the arrow button next to Medical Reserve Corps or any other organization that has an arrow button, it will open up and provide you with a list of organizations within that group set. So for training purposes, I'm just going to go with the first one, which is Abraham Lincoln Medical Reserve Corps. That's the one I want to go to. Okay, click on it. You hit select. Okay, so, and here you would do it any other system, and that would be to fill out a username, password, confirm the password, secret question. Let me just go through it real quick. So, and on. Password on password one. Glad to see now they have that eye on there so you can see what password you picked. Sometimes when you don't see your finger or your nail can hit the wrong key and then you have to start all over. But I'm so glad they updated. Good. Happen here. There we go already. Mm. Okay, so the reason why I knew it was wrong, everything wasn't green to the right. So everything is green now, so they match. So let me write that down. I don't know how my brain is. Okay. Username done. Okay. All right, secret question. I always go with my pet. Sweet little Cody. Cody. And then terms of service, I just go down and just click all the boxes. And here you just have to fill in your contact information or your name. And I'll just use one of these. All righty. Occupation type. Now this is where you select if you're a medical or non-medical volunteer. If you select medical, click on occupation, the arrow down button, and you get a list of medical. If you select non-medical, there is a long list of non-medical volunteer descriptions also. So whatever one you want to pick. I just said I was going to go with air traffic control. No rhyme or reason, just because. What is your current professional status for this occupation? Active. How did you hear about our site? I'm going to do ad on television. Okay. And then click next. By clicking accept, you acknowledge that we will run background checks and only until you provide that social security number, and we will get to that part. Okay, then you hit accept. And so at this point, they'll tell you something's missing. Okay, counting. Yep, good old Cook. And what else? Contact method. Okay. Let's see, hopefully that's it. What am I missing now? Oh, Lord. Make sure I had caps. Okay. Good. Oof. I didn't want to stay this long. Okay. Oh my God. Email address. All right. This is how you do it. For the sake of time, um, this is how you would have your volunteer register. And hopefully they'll do it better than me the first time. But I'm going to show you how, as an administrator, how you would go and check for that registration. Okay, so all righty. Oh boy. Everything that could go wrong, here we go. Mhm. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to log in as the administrator and show you what you see. All right. So you as an administrator, when you log in, you'll see updates and recent messages. If there was a recent message that was sent to you through the system, this was where you would see it. So I know that I have 12 volunteers that are pending, and this is what you'll see when you have pending volunteers. As a FEP recipient of funding, this is a requirement that you update or at least go into the system and make sure that there are no pending volunteers waiting to be accepted or pending volunteers either waiting to be accepted, rejected, researching, or withdrawn. We just don't want them sitting in the pending status without being recognized, okay? So I'll go with one that I did. So I'm gonna pick, mhm, I'll pick Janita Kane. So pending. So what you want to do is go and click on that person's name and review their profile to see if this is a person you want to accept. For one, you can see that their profile is 99, 93% complete. Which might not be a deal breaker, but review it. And if you want to edit any information, what you would do is click on the edit information. Review it. Okay, you see the person in your unit is in Cook County. They live in Cook County. I don't know if they drive a vehicle. Any deployment preferences, you would find that here under deployment preferences, they want to do only local or in-state or even federal deployments. This is where you would find that information. If they have a passport, how to contact them. Email address, phone number is there. That's right, her sister. Occupation, she's a registered nurse. Depending on you want to, there's any more information about that, make sure that their license was verified. If not, you can actually do that, and I'll show you that in a second. Any trainings they received, psychological first aid, Illinois Helps training course, okay? Any skills, special skills. They have a CPR card, BLS is specific. That should be updated there. And as far as the background check, okay, we will not show anything specific here, even though I know it's a training site. It's it is just making sure, but the last one form was completed on 2/20. But this is where you would do update or run a background check on your volunteer at this point. And they would have had to provided their social security number. If not, you can contact them, and this is where I'll show you how to message your volunteers. So this is the basic profile. So open this back up and see organization, account settings. Waiting to be accepted either in Abraham or McLean County. To account settings, this is where you would update their password or reset their password if they request that. This is their status, active, and their eServIP ID number. Okay. All right. So as an administrator, you go right to messages. If you want to message that particular volunteer to update their profile in Illinois Helps, you would click on Compose. If you want to just make a message specifically for them, or if you want to create a template. If you see, like this particular unit has 13 pending volunteers, you might want to create a template. So you might want to, you know, eliminate the amount of typing you will have to do. You can create a template specifically to send to your volunteers or pending volunteers. Your message has not been sent, are you sure? No, cancel. Okay. So the template here, um, we already have a few selected trainings, you like trainings, but if you wanted to create one, it's the first time I have used the training site in a minute. So bear with me. So here it is to create a template. The sender would be yourself or your unit. Communication type, could be actual, because you just want to ask them to, address their profile in the system to update it. So you can just say update profile for volunteers. Viewable by who? Only you or administrators in your organization, all administrators of your organizations, or this is because I'm the system coordinator, this is why I have this here. So you can put only me. The recipients, you can add recipients. We know her name was Jay Kane. Just click on search. And there she is, because it's two of them. I'm just going to click both and add those individuals. Now, if you had wanted to import a contact list from another site or another source, you would do that here. And if you want to CC others via email, you would click that and you just type them in or copy and paste here. So I'm just going to click no. The subject, update profile. It already defaults to internal, so that means that an internal message will be sent internally from Illinois Helps to the recipient, letting them know that you are requesting this information. But for redundancy and for making sure that this person gets it, I'll always click on email. So the email that they provided will also go to that email too. And so you just write in your template, please update. I'm not going to write all this because I only have a few minutes. Please update profile. Click. If you want to go into paging and texting, you can do that too. Texting they only let you utilize 140 characters. So be mindful of that, and as well as the voicemail message. I think all three work perfectly. Text message and phone, you just got to have a little time to sit down and integrate that into your messaging. Delivery delay. You want to delay in how the message will be delivered to the sources, 5, 10, or 15 minutes. You have that choice. Priority, is it normal or is it high? How urgent is it for you? Message delivery, escalation or blast. That means one will escalate. It'll start off with the messaging, starting with the phone, the cell phone, the texting, and then so on and so forth. Okay. Time you want this message to be available for response, you have a selection from up to 1 hour down to 72 hours. If you want to leave a voicemail, full message, you have those options as well. Number of times to contact, I always go with the max. Times in between each contact, you have a choice from 5, 10, 15, and 20 minutes. And a requested response is already defaults to, because you want to make sure that they received it, and you got to have confirmation. And how to add other response options. You just click on that and you can say message received. I no longer want to be a volunteer, so take me out the roster. So you have other some choices or options you can provide for the recipient. And for that, you click save. And of course, something is missing. Card bill, please make a valid entry. Must have been this. Okay. All right. And it's saved. Okay. So compose a message. And what you do is look for request volunteers. There it is. And those recipients are there. And you can send. And how you receive your responses, sent. So let's go back to sent. Guess we're going to leave this page. Ready? So you click on your message you sent, and then this is where you will find out if they responded or if they did. Okay. So I will be having a more in-depth training coming up at the FEP Summit in May here in Illinois, Bloomington. But this was an introduction, and if you need more assistance on this, you can always contact me via email, and we can set up a just-in-time training. Other than that, are there any questions right now? If not, thank you for listening.
Dawn, I do have one question.
Oh, okay, come on.
Is there, and on iHelps, there is a place for them to put in their training, but it's only very specific ones that they have on a list. Is there any way to put on training that's not on the list?
Yes. Um, we will talk offline, Mary. I will get those trainings updated so they can be on the list. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. One more, Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hello, Don. I have curiosity. How would you face someone who doesn't want to give their social security?
And they have that option. It's just that they won't have a background check. You'll have to find another way to do a background check for them if they're deployed, if that's a requirement.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Do
All
you have any
right.
more questions?
So I'm going to switch things up a little bit. So if you guys do have any additional questions for Dawn, if you want to go ahead and type them in the chat, and we'll address them as they come in. But I'm going to switch things up a little bit here, and I'm going to turn it over to the board. They do have a quick update for you guys. I will go ahead and turn it over to the board before we proceed with Troy's presentation.
Andrea, do you want to take it or do you want me?
You do it. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm Lori. We wanted to let you guys know that there was a no contest election. So I will be still saying South Secretary. Andrea will stay. She's actually taking over chair instead of assist chair. And then we have a newbie to the group, Jacob Emmons, and he's going to be our communications person. Because once Strong is done, we will not have people to help us with like social media and keeping our things updated and like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like all those, even with publishing stuff. So he's going to take on that for us. We're kind of excited about that. Other than that, they did put out a new um, shopping cart. Please, everybody, take advantage of it. Even if you only use some of it, you only want two or three things. Please get on it. It's free, you know. And the other thing would be, let's see here, a little about me. My name is Lori Sangrath. I am from Princeton, Illinois. I am the unit leader for Putnam and Bureau County MRC. I am also the unit leader for Marshall County unit leader. I have a very small counties. With all three counties combined, I don't even hit 50,000. I realized that I went to the national meet and I put myself as rural. And we were sitting at a table and I said to the gentleman, "Oh, where are you from?" He said, "New York." I said, "Oh, how many people do you have in your county?" He said, 100,000. Oh, I don't even hit 50. So I guess I am frontier is what I learned real quick. But that was kind of interesting that they call that rule. We don't. But being on the board, I use my voice for the little people. You know, the big city, you know, they got tons of things. They got plenty of things to do. With us little counties, we don't have a lot of people. We have a lot of people who don't want to share their information. We have a lot of just different things and different type of things to do. So I try to keep your guys' voice in there for that. I have been with the MRC for 3.5 years. I love meeting people. It's the greatest thing. And I have been to national and regional conferences. Both of them were great. You have to come. If you can get there, go. It's fun. And let's see here. Any questions for me? Nope. Andrea, you get to go next. No
You're,
speaking.
you're muted, Andrea.
Of course I am. We'll start that again. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea. I'm the unit leader for the Chicago Medical Reserve Corps and currently do live in the city of Chicago. Originally, I went to high school in Peoria, originally from Europe. And I started my MRC journey pretty recently. I'm still quite new of a leader. I started in August 2023 when I started with CDPH. This role was new with the MRC, and I took it, and it has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It is so great to meet so many amazing, dedicated, hardworking people who volunteer their time and love what they do. And it's been one of the greatest treasures that I could have welcomed into my life. So I'm really glad to have joined the MRC family. It's been really fun. Some of our activities, we do a lot of vaccinations. We responded to that measles outbreak that we had last year in March. And we also are doing a big emergency kit distribution project that we're about to launch next week. And a lot of our volunteers will be supporting in the education for emergency preparedness kits and why they should prepare in the community. As Lori said too, I am currently the assistant, but I am very honored to become the co-chair for the North. And I have also been the marketing liaison between KMK, Merkel, and ISCS. If you have any questions for me or anything that I can do for you, I want to get to know as many of you guys as humanly possible. I'm hoping to be there in the May conference for the ADPH conference. So I would love to meet you. Please ask questions. Please tell us what we can do to support you as a Merkel board. We are here for you. And that's all we can hope for. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So, Dawn, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm over here tearing up, but I just want to thank Lori and Andrea and wonderful, but Lori, wonderful introduction, what you're doing and what you continue to do for the state of Illinois and you as well, Andrea. And I just didn't want you to forget you do impact also. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I'm anxious. Yes, I do a lot.
Yeah, she does a lot. So, but welcome your new board members and current board members who have served Merkel so well. This last board, oh my God. Even with the hiccups after January 20th, we still maintained and we were able to still move through. And it sounds like we're going to continue to move through it. And I know we're stuck on time and I'll get off my soapbox, but thank you.
All right.
I
So,
do want to say one more thing. If it wasn't for Jeanette and Bethany, we might have pulled our hair out by now, and they have been great for support for us. So give them a shout out.
Hootie hoo!
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks,
Andrea.
thank you, guys. All right. So, if anybody has any questions for Dawn or for the board or for Lori and Andrea in their positions, go ahead and type them into the chat and that way they can address them. But now I'm going to turn it over to Troy. Again, he's a sales executive with Volunteers Vertical, a First Advantage company with Sterling Volunteers. So Troy, take it away.
Yo, hey, my wife's name's Andrea, but she only has one E in it, so that's kind of funky. I like that. Anyway, we're going to segue over to private background checks. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when we get that up. There we go. We good to go?
Yep, all good to go here.
All right. So I'm Troy Gerber. I work at Sterling Volunteers, which is a First Advantage company. I sell exclusively volunteer background checks to the not-for-profit space. I've done this 30 years with Sterling First Advantage, about a decade. So it's a private solution to conducting criminal and sex offender background checks on volunteers. It's a unique model that we have for your organization. So we're going to just talk a little bit about who Sterling Volunteers is, what we offer, legal requirements, and we'll get through this within probably 10 minutes, unless you got a lot of questions. So, Sterling Volunteers was built literally to empower volunteers to get their screenings done and perhaps share it with other organizations. So, for example, if I raise my hand at Meals on Wheels or Catholic Charities or Special Olympics and I get vetted in the last 12 months, I can share my background check with other organizations. So they're not going through giving up their personal identifying information multiple times in a year. They do it once and they can share it. If the volunteers share their background check with other nonprofits, the receiving nonprofit doesn't have to pay for it. It's actually free. So that's kind of cool. And then it also helps a volunteer where they don't actually have to cough up their, social security number or whatever, time and time again. So reducing the risk. So the whole mission of Sterling Volunteers was to build a community of vetted volunteers where the volunteer could get screened once in that 12 months and share it wherever they go. So if they're going to go help with the Meals on Wheels or Special Olympics or with the organizations as well, they can just share it. It's super easy for them and it's easy for you because it's free. So that's nice. So who is Sterling Volunteers? Well, we are a vertical within First Advantage, which First Advantage is a publicly traded, it's the largest background check company in the United States. But we operate as a division within that First Advantage umbrella. First Advantage has over 40,000 clients. I think Sterling Volunteers has over 10,000 not-for-profits. We vet millions of volunteers a year. So if you haven't heard of us, we're in the private sector, so that might be part of it, but we're pretty well known under the brand Sterling Volunteers, and now we're a First Advantage company as of October. So a few nuances on the changes on the logo and things like that. But as a private background check company, we are a consumer reporting agency, which brings in some federal and state laws. When you outsource to a consumer reporting agency, there's rights and things, and we'll get into that. But overall, we have a huge network of partners, whether it's Girl Scouts or, like I mentioned, Meals on Wheels and Lions Clubs, CASA programs. I mean, blue chips of what you're probably familiar with, but we partnered with Points of Light early on to bring this community-based volunteer platform to the masses on the nonprofit scale. So we're the only ones that do it. It's pretty unique. And to buy in is a low entry point, but we do offer background checks on a scale that no one else has done in the not-for-profit sector. So why do we grow so fast? Well, the facts are what they are. I mean, 25% of Americans, yeah, they're arrested for whatever. That doesn't mean they committed a crime. So we got to vet them through a process and find out of those arrests. I mean, you think about it, we got 300 plus million Americans. 25% have been arrested. That doesn't mean anything in my world, but the convictions do matter. So in America, we are innocent until proven guilty. So when we look at the guilty verdicts, about 10% of Americans have a guilty verdict of some sort. But that might be something, even if it was a guilty verdict, it might not pose big risk to your organization. So we put them through a vetting process at Sterling Volunteers where we look at the arrest, we look at then reporting convictions, but then you're looking at, well, on those convictions, what really matters to me? And that's about 1% to 2%, right? So if you're doing thousands of screens, you might only be looking at 10, 20, 30 people that you really don't want to proceed with because of their past behavior or their pattern of behavior, that kind of thing. So how we do it at Sterling Volunteers, our First Advantage company, is we first locate the records through databases, find out where they've been, committing these crimes or been arrested for these crimes. And then we search and review at the courthouse. So that's at the county seat. And then we match it up based on their identifiers. Truth be known, identifiers at the U.S. courthouses are literally matched on name and date of birth. Can you imagine if our social security numbers were in the public domain at these courthouses? I mean, identity theft would be running rampant more than it is already. So it's primarily the personal identifying information, the match is name and date of birth. Then we can go to their address or what have you. They might have the last 4 digits of their social. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the primary match is name and date of birth. Then we'll apply state and federal rules based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because the Fair Credit Reporting Act is kind of the governing, arching legalese that we have to follow when applying rules to. So that means convictions older than 7 years or non-convictions that are currently pending, things like that. So we'll apply rules and then we'll report it. So it goes through a whole filter process. We have a couple of options for our nonprofit clients. Either package, I mean, we're talking the difference between $20 and $40 here, but I'm going to see if I can't zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. Give me 1 second. The advanced level package is our most popular package for not-for-profit. It does the social trace. We do the terrorist watch list through the Office of Foreign Asset Control. We put their name through a national criminal database, which is a private database. If we find a hit in that national criminal file, we'll go to the courthouse and validate the hits at the county seat. We run them through the Department of Justice on the National Sex Offender Public website. That's the Drew Shadeen National Sex Offender Public website. So all these volunteers are going through multi-layers, and then we do their current county, looking for felony and misdemeanor searches in the last 7 years. And then on top of all those filters, we're running a monthly update on the National Criminal Database for 1 year. So when you bring a volunteer through Sterling Volunteers platform, it's not just one and done. No, we have a monitoring service. You're getting 12 background checks continuously on that volunteer. So if Johnny or Sally, I should say, has a hit in like 3 months of service, we'll send an email alert to your organization that, you know, Johnny or Sally's background check has changed from when you first onboarded them. So it's a pretty unique service that we offer. There's no additional cost for it. But at the end of the day, you're getting 12 background checks for the price of one. No one else in America that I know of that offers that at no cost. So kudos for MRC for putting that with Sterling. Those monthly updates do pay dividends. And so you're getting social security number, terrorist watch list, sex offender, criminal, all this in a bundle package for under $20. It's pretty good value. The question of like, hey, if someone doesn't have a social, do I have to have a social for a criminal background check? The answer is no. It's Sterling Volunteers on the advanced level that we're doing for under $20 does not require the volunteer to put in their social to run these searches. These searches are usually done at the primary source, which we're talking about the Department of Justice or Cook County, Illinois, or whatever, DeKalb, wherever they're at. That's public primary sources, and the social doesn't matter. What does matter is what's their identity. So the identity is name and date of birth. We'll report it. You'll have to verify it with the candidate. The candidate can always come back and dispute if they want. But at the end of the day, no social is required at the advanced level package. So good news for all people. Since Sterling is a consumer reporting agency, and I've already mentioned the Fair Credit Reporting Act, when you decide that, hey, Sterling Volunteers is the proper way for us to conduct background checks, you're going to have responsibilities and obligations when engaging with a third party. And when I say third party, I mean, you go into a consumer reporting agency and paying a fee for this. So when you do that, you're going to have certain laws that come into play and certain behaviors you're going to have to do. So number one is we'll have an agreement, an upfront contract. But when reviewing the background checks, you can't just say, oh, Sterling said you're a sex offender, let's not move forward. Well, no, that consumer has rights and they need to be protected under this federal law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And one of the steps that you need to do is at least give them an opportunity to dispute the accuracy of the report, right? So they call that adverse action process. You send them a copy of the report, a summary of their rights, blah, blah, blah. They come back to Sterling within 5 days. dispute it or not. And then you can proceed with adverse action if they don't dispute it. So we can take that offline, but when you do engage with a consumer reporting agency, there is a federal law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act that will come in play, and we'll put you in compliance with all that. And so to onboard with Sterling Volunteers, fairly straightforward. We go through an agreement normally with DocuSign or Adobe Acrobat Reader. You'll fill out the form and we'll have to credential you as an entity to make sure you're a legitimate US-based business, which shouldn't be an issue. But that process takes about 4 to 5 business days. And then once it's approved, your account's set up and you're live, ready to go. So once you're ready to go, we have sales support, client management support. We even have volunteer support. So it's not like you're left in the dust just with an online service. You can certainly text or email or call, and volunteers can engage with us as well. So that's our commitment to you. We also have a resource hub that's full of information that you guys might not get from our support and you just want to do it on your own. So you can go to sterlingvolunteers.com. Under resources is a pretty good place if you guys want to see the process of how it works. I would go to sterlingvolunteers.com, and under resources, there's a videos tab. Under videos, you can see how does it work. It'll give you literally a 2.5-minute video of like the volunteer engagement process and then the admin process. I'm not going to bore you with going through a bunch of processes, but the videos are good. So we'll leave it at that. Any questions?
All right. Anybody have any questions for Troy? Okay. So if you guys do have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. And if Troy does jump off while we're doing our updates, then I'll make sure and follow up and get you the answers that you need. So Troy, thank you so much for your presentation. And Dawn, thank you so much for your presentation as well. And thank you guys for understanding the fluctuation within the presentations. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll share my screen here so we can provide some updates. Let's see. All right. All right, so I just kind of want to go through some program updates, have some pretty good news as far as some dates are concerned, so stay tuned. All right, so Lori mentioned the marketing supplies. So this was sent out here earlier this week, maybe last week, as far as the marketing supplies are concerned. So the marketing supplies are being offered to help related to marketing and sustainability for the MRC. If it is a logoed item, it'll be a General Medical Reserve Corps logo, and the total value of the selected items will not exceed $1,500, which is more than what was for the emergency preparedness supplies. There's a wide variety of items on there, so you do need to fill out the first page. On there, the first page will have the PDF where you can download it. The links to Amazon, the links to 4imprint are on there so you can review the items. The second page is where you order everything. There are some surplus items as well. So which means the cost is for the postage to ship it to you. Participation is completely optional, and we're asking that orders are to be placed by March 7th. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Jeanette. The remarkable training workshops. So the February one was conducted. So our next workshop will be in Southern Illinois at the Gateway Convention Center on March 15th. These are free. We are offering continuing education credits, and we are sharing it with everyone. Coordinators, volunteers, partners, colleagues, anyone is more than welcome to join us. So please share. So round three, MRC Strong Grant Subaward. This was shared, but the application has been extended to stay open until February 28th, which also extends that end of project report to July 31st. So, which is pretty exciting. So you don't have that short turnaround time anymore. So it extends it all the way through July. So there have been some absolutely fabulous things come through with these MRC Strong grants that wouldn't have been possible without this funding. If you haven't taken the opportunity to apply or read through it, we definitely encourage that. The local training opportunity, this has also been extended. A request submission date has been extended to March 31st, and the training completion date has been extended to June 30th. It's $2,700 available to bring local training into you. If you only use part of the funding to do one training, you can continue to offer additional training if you want to do a repeat of the class or what have you. First aid, CPR, mental health, active shooter, search and rescue. There is a FAQ and flowchart available. That has been shared as well. It's also available in historical newsletters and is typically within the newsletter that gets sent out. You can use your own vendor for any of the trainings that are listed above. Background check. So we definitely want to make sure and just put this in here. So we are offering to cover up to 20 background checks utilizing Illinois Helps or Sterling. You have to choose one platform, so not 10 in one, 10 in the other to conduct your 20 background checks. They have to be performed before the end of March. If you, for choice one, sign into your account, the volunteer has to have a profile with Illinois Helps for you to run their background check, which we did discuss. So choice two is Sterling. Get a hold of us and then we'll let you know if you're interested in choosing Sterling. Some of you may already have an account depending on what system that you use, and then we'll make sure and follow up with instructions. The monthly coordinator webinars are like today, every third Thursday at 10 o'clock. And then we try to choose topics they're there to bring training awareness, share best practices, and then resources for you guys. So on March 20th, our subject will be communicating with your community partners. And then April 17th, our focus is the factors for success. We have sent out a Teams calendar invite for this reoccurring monthly webinar. If for some reason you haven't received it, let us know and we'll go ahead and forward that to you. So I do have an announcement. So I did provide a lot of great information and good news. I do have an announcement to make. I will be transitioning out of this role. I have accepted a new position with the Woodford County Health Department. I will be their new public health administrator. So this is my last full-time day with this project. I'm not completely leaving. However, I will be very, very, very part-time as I have accepted a new full-time position. I always love MRC, always will love MRC. So I'll always be here. As always, if you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Jeanette is the project manager, and so she's always there as a point of contact. So if you guys have any questions or anything, please reach out to her. Her email is within the presentation, but you guys have her contact information, and we'll make sure and share that out as well.
Hey, Bethany, if I could just take a minute.
Sure.
On behalf of
Stop sharing
everybody,
my screen.
we have known you for a very long time. Some of us have known you probably since we started with MRC. For me, since 2009, I got to meet Don first, and then eventually got to know you. And your partnership, your friendship, your passion for this program has really meant the world to so many of us. And I've been really blessed to have you work on this program with me. And I'm glad that you're not leaving me completely. But on behalf of everybody, we really wish you the best in this amazing new opportunity for you.
Thank you.
I want to say something real quick. Second time I cried. I'm not crying this time because we'll always get back together. It's just how it goes, okay? You're not going to be fired at all. And thank you for all that you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, as Bethany said, we will still be here for you. The project is supposed to end of May. However, we may be able to get an extension, and that's what we're counting on. So we will be with you a few months longer after that. And we're not far. Bethany will still be working with me on this project. So if you have any needs, any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you, guys.
All right. If nobody has any additional questions on any project updates, if you guys don't have any questions for the board or for Dawn, then I will go ahead and give you guys back 9 minutes of your day. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, I'm here. If I can't answer you immediately, if it's an immediate need, I will make sure and forward it on. Otherwise, I will get back to you. It just may not be within that day. So. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are an amazing MRC family. So, and I do mean family.
Bye, everyone.